Have you ever wondered why someone who hurt you suddenly comes back, acting like nothing happened? It's confusing, painful, and sometimes even tempting to let them back in. But the truth is, there's a deeper reason they return, and it's not always love. In this video, we're breaking down 20 powerful insights, inspired by Dr. Berman, to help you understand exactly why they come back after hurting you and what it really means for your healing. Number 1, they miss the attention you gave. When someone leaves, they may not fully realize what they're walking away from. Not just a relationship, but the energy behind it, the late night conversations, the way you checked in when no one else did, the way you really listened when they talked. See, people don't always recognize value in the moment. They assume your attention is permanent, that your care is guaranteed. But once you pull that energy back once, the good morning texts stop, the support fades, and the silence sets in, it starts to hit them. They feel the emptiness, not because they suddenly changed, but because they lost access to something rare, genuine presence. They start missing you, not because of who they are, but because of how you made them feel. And when people lose that emotional comfort, that safe space, it creates a void. That's when they start reaching out again, not necessarily because they appreciate you now, but because they miss the version of themselves that felt seen, heard, and cared for when they were with you. Number 2, they regret losing control. Sometimes, people don't come back out of love, they come back to reestablish dominance. When they walked away, they felt in control. Maybe they thought you'd chase them, beg for another chance, or wait around hoping they'd change their mind. But when you chose silence, when you chose peace, they didn't expect that. See, your strength becomes a threat to someone who's used to having power over your emotions. The moment you stop reacting, they lose the ability to manipulate the outcome. So they come back not to fix things, not to take accountability, but to see if they still have a hold on you. This kind of return is subtle. It's masked as checking in or missing you, but behind it is a test. Can I still influence them? Do they still care? If you fall back into old patterns, they get what they wanted: control. But if you stand your ground, they're forced to confront the truth. You've outgrown the version of yourself that once tolerated being an option. Number 3, they're lonely. Let's be honest, some people don't return because they've had a deep realization or because they've suddenly matured. They come back because they're lonely. Not everyone can handle their own silence. For some, being alone feels like punishment, not peace. So they reach out, not to reconnect with you, but to escape themselves. They're not asking how you've been or what you need, they're trying to fill a gap created by their own choices. But here's the truth. Loneliness isn't the same as love. Just because someone misses your presence during their empty nights doesn't mean they're ready to show up during your hardest days. And if you let someone return just because they're lonely, you risk becoming a temporary fix for a permanent emptiness they haven't addressed. You're not a shelter from their isolation. You're not a backup plan. You're a whole person. Never forget that. Number 4, they want validation. Sometimes it's not about feelings. It's about ego. When they come back, they're not always looking for a second chance. They're checking to see if they still matter. Do you still think about them? Would you still take them back? Do they still have access to your heart? This is where emotional intelligence comes in, because someone seeking validation will often say just enough to open the door, but never enough to walk all the way through it. They'll breadcrumb, send vague messages, reminisce just enough to pull you in. But when it comes to real accountability or action, they fall silent. They don't miss you, they miss feeling wanted. And if they can get that feeling back without giving you anything real in return, that's all they were after. Your response feeds their self-worth. So ask yourself, are they coming back with clarity and commitment? Or are they just making sure they still have space in your heart for their ego to rest? Number 5, they feel guilty. Sometimes guilt becomes louder than silence. The weight of their actions, the things they said or didn't say, starts creeping. in. Maybe they left without a word. Maybe they hurt you and pretended it was normal. In the moment, they justified it. But time has a way of unraveling those justifications. So they come back. But here's the key: guilt doesn't always lead to growth. Some people don't return to take responsibility, they return to relieve themselves. It's not always an apology, it's a subtle, self-serving move. They want reassurance that they're not that bad, that you don't hate them, that what they didn't cause permanent damage. But guilt that isn't followed by accountability is just ego in disguise. So when they return, ask yourself, are they truly sorry? Or do they just want to feel better about what they did? You're not responsible for easing someone's conscience at the cost of reopening your wounds. Number 6, they see you moving on. This one cuts deep for them. Maybe they thought you'd be stuck, that you'd wait, that without them, you wouldn't shine as bright. But then they see you smiling again, thriving, healing, evolving. They see you investing in yourself, choosing peace, building a life without them. And that shakes them. Not because they suddenly understand your worth, but because they realize someone else might. The idea of you being happy without them threatens their ego. It challenges the story they told themselves that they were irreplaceable. So they come back, not always to rebuild, sometimes just to disrupt, just to see if they still have a place in the world you've built without them. But here's the truth: your healing is not their invitation. Your growth doesn't mean they've earned a second chance. It means you've done the hard work they were never willing to do. Number 7, they fear you'll forget them sometimes. When people come back into your life, it's because they're afraid of being forgotten. Life moves fast, and relationships can easily fade away for some. Reconnecting is a way to remind you they still matter and to keep their place in your story. It's not always about control or manipulation. Sometimes it's just a genuine fear of being left behind or replaced. Understanding this can help you approach these moments with empathy, while still setting healthy boundaries if needed. Number 8, they haven't found better. Another reason people might return is that they haven't found something better elsewhere. After exploring new relationships or opportunities that didn't work out, they might remember the comfort, support, or stability you provided in the past. It's natural to seek familiarity when new options fall short. This doesn't necessarily mean they didn't value you before. Sometimes it's about recognizing what truly feels right only after experiencing other possibilities. It's important, though, to think about what you want to and not just settle for someone who only comes back when they're out of options. Number 9, they crave familiar. Human beings are creatures of habit. We often find ourselves drawn to what's familiar, even if it's not good for us. Sometimes, people return to relationships or situations that might have been toxic or unhealthy, simply because those experiences are known territory. The familiar can feel comforting, it's predictable and feels safe, even if it's damaging. Change and the unknown can be scary, and stepping out of a comfort zone requires courage. So, when someone comes back, it might be because they're seeking that sense of familiarity, even if deep down they know it's not the best for them. Understanding this can help you see where they're coming from. But it's crucial to protect your own emotional health and not get caught up in repeating old patterns. Number 10, they romanticize the past. Time has a way of softening memories. When people look back, they tend to remember the good times more vividly and conveniently forget the difficult or painful moments. This phenomenon is called romanticizing the past. It can make someone believe that things weren't that bad, or that maybe the problems they faced weren't as serious as they actually were. This distorted view often leads to a desire to reconnect or give the relationship another chance, hoping to recapture those positive feelings. But it's important to stay grounded and remember why things ended or why the situation was harmful. A balanced perspective, one that acknowledges both the good and the bad, is essential for making healthy decisions moving forward and avoiding getting trapped in cycles that don't serve your best interests. Number 11, they want to rewrite The story when people return after some time away, it's often because they want a chance to rewrite the story of your relationship. Maybe they regret how things ended, or they want to justify their past actions either to themselves or to you. Returning gives them an opportunity to explain their side, seek forgiveness, or reshape the narrative in a way that paints them in a better light. It's a way of trying to control how the past is remembered, and it's sometimes to ease their own guilt. While it's okay to listen and consider their perspective, it's equally important to stay grounded and remember your truth. Don't let someone rewrite your experience or make you doubt your own feelings. Their version of the story might be convenient for them, but it doesn't have to define you or your healing process. Number 12. They think you're still vulnerable if you've forgiven someone before. They might assume that you're always going to be forgiving or even vulnerable to them. This can lead to a dangerous pattern where they come back expecting the same treatment without truly learning from past mistakes. It's important to recognize that forgiveness is a personal choice and a sign of your strength, not a free pass for repeated hurtful behavior. When someone thinks you're still vulnerable, they might test boundaries or push limits, hoping you'll give in. That's why setting clear boundaries and protecting your emotional health is so critical. Growth means knowing when to forgive, but also knowing when to walk away to protect yourself from harm and to prioritize your own well-being. Number 13. They sense your strength when you grow and become stronger emotionally. It can actually intimidate some people. Strength shows that you're confident, independent, and no longer easily influenced. This new version of you might feel unfamiliar or challenging to those who once took you for granted. At the same time, your growth can attract them back because they recognize your value and want to be part of that positive energy. Sometimes, people come back because they admire your strength and wish they had contributed to it or been a part of your journey. But it's important to remember that your strength is for you, not a tool to bring others back or keep them around. Number 14. They're emotionally unstable. People who are emotionally unstable often show unpredictable behavior, what feels like hot and cold treatment. One moment, they may seem deeply interested or caring, and the next, distant or disconnected. This inconsistency is usually a sign of their own inner struggles and insecurity, not a reflection of your worth. When someone is emotionally unstable, their behavior can be confusing and exhausting to navigate. Recognizing this can help you protect yourself and avoid getting caught in emotional roller coasters that drain your energy. It's okay to step back and prioritize relationships with people who offer steady support and respect. Number 15. They don't understand boundaries. So one reason people might come back into your life is that they still don't fully understand or respect your boundaries. Boundaries are crucial because they protect your emotional space and help maintain healthy relationships. But some people struggle to recognize or honor these limits. When they return without acknowledging your need for space or without making changes, it's a clear sign they haven't grown as much as you might hope. They may unintentionally or sometimes intentionally ignore your feelings and expectations, which can cause frustration or emotional harm. It's important to communicate your boundaries clearly and consistently. And if they continue to disregard them, you have every right to distance yourself. Respecting your own limits isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being. Number 16. They want a safety net. Another reason someone might come back is that you've become their safety net, a familiar place to land. When other relationships or situations don't work out, people often prefer the comfort of something they know, even if it's not ideal, rather than facing the uncertainty of the unknown. So, they keep the option open with you as a kind of emotional backup plan. This isn't always about true care or commitment. Sometimes it's about convenience and security. Being someone's safety net can feel flattering at first, but over time, it can become draining and unfair to your emotional health. You deserve to be in relationships where you're valued as a priority, not just as the fallback option when everything else fails. Recognizing this dynamic can empower you to protect yourself and seek connections that truly Respect and cherish you. Number 17. They lack closure sometimes. When people come back into your life, it's because they never truly process the end of your relationship or connection. When things end suddenly or without a clear conversation or understanding, it can leave emotions tangled and unresolved. This lack of closure can cause confusion, regret, or even guilt, making it hard for someone to fully move on. Returning can be their way of seeking answers, hoping to find clarity, or even to rewrite the ending in their favor. It's important to recognize that closure isn't always something that can be given by another person. Often, it has to come from within yourself. While you can choose to have honest conversations if you feel it's healthy, you're never obligated to reopen old wounds just to give someone else peace of mind. Protect your emotional well-being first, and remember that sometimes closure means accepting the past and moving forward without looking back. Number 18. They're testing you. Another reason people might come back is that they're testing you. This behavior is about checking if they still have a place in your life, or if they still hold influence over your feelings and decisions. It's a subtle way of seeing if you're still emotionally available, or if you've grown stronger and more independent. This kind of testing can come across as mixed signals. One moment they act interested, the next distant or indifferent. It's important to pay attention to these patterns and ask yourself whether engaging is truly healthy for you. Tests like these can be draining and confusing, so setting clear boundaries is essential. Remember, your time and energy are valuable, and you deserve to invest them in relationships where you're respected and genuinely valued, not just someone's experiment to see if they still matter. Number 19. They don't want you happy without them. Sometimes, when people come back into your life, it's because your happiness without them feels like a direct challenge to their ego. When you heal, grow, and thrive on your own, it can make them uncomfortable or even jealous. Instead of feeling proud of your progress or wishing you well, they might feel threatened. Your independence and joy can serve as a reminder that they no longer hold the power or influence they once did over you. This can lead to attempts to reinsert themselves into your life, sometimes subtly, sometimes more overtly, in an effort to regain control or reestablish their place. Understanding this helps you see that their return might not be about you or your worth, but about their own insecurities. It's essential to protect your happiness and not let someone else's discomfort with your growth pull you back into old patterns or toxic dynamics. Number 20. They know you deserve better but hope you don't realize it deep down. Many people know that you were good to them and that you deserve so much better than what they offered. When they come back, it's often because they hope you haven't fully recognized your true worth yet. They want to keep you close while you're still unsure of yourself, still doubting your value. This can be a subtle but powerful form of emotional manipulation, where they cling to the hope that you'll settle for less, or that you'll accept their return without demanding the respect and love you truly deserve. The key to breaking this cycle is self-awareness, understanding your worth, acknowledging the ways you've grown, and refusing to accept anything less than what honors and uplifts you. When you truly see your value, you gain the clarity and strength to walk away from relationships that don't meet your standards and to open yourself up to healthier, more fulfilling connections. Understanding why they come back is the first step in breaking the cycle and protecting your peace. Remember, just because they return doesn't mean they've changed, and it definitely doesn't mean you have to let them in. If this video helped you gain clarity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And most importantly, keep choosing yourself every single time.